95% computer engineers in India do not know how to do coding. And that's a harsh reality. Because just by cramming through the books, skimming through the books, you can't really become a programmer. You are to really practice.
What some of our problems may inculcate is that we don't believe.
I'm no more Indian because I don't follow values of Indian culture, Vedic culture. So neither I am Indian nor I am American. American I cannot become. Indian I'm no more because I don't follow the values, the spiritual culture. So I'm stuck in between. So धोबी का dash ना यहाँ का ना वहाँ.
The renowned leadership expert John Quincy Adams, who once said, "If your actions inspire others to learn more, do more, dream more, and become more, then you are a leader." These words resonate deeply as we embark on another enlightening journey into the realm of leadership. I, Pratham Arora,
And I have no focus.
and we invite you to Leadership Talk Season 2, where we illuminate the essence of leadership and its profound impact on our world.
Leadership Talks is more than just a discussion. It's a platform for education, inspiration, and empowerment. It's a space where world thought leaders come together and discuss effective strategies to practice leadership in today's fast-paced world.
With a rich background in spirituality and leadership, for our episode 2, we welcome Amogh Lila Prabhuji, who always aims and inspire and motivate the audience, offering valuable life lessons on how to lead a purposeful and fulfilling life.
His teachings surpass conventional teaching standards, and in leadership practicing, it emphasizes on the growth of self-improvement. And his engaging discourse effectively aims students towards a path of leadership. So whether you're a renowned leader,
An aspiring leader,
or someone simply willing to dip their hands into leadership, we've got just the thing for you. So sit tight and relax and enjoy this session with Amogh ji.
Thank you.
So how are you today, sir?
Yeah, by God's grace, I'm fine.
Sir, it is our immense pleasure and honor to have you on board today, and we are extremely grateful that you could be a pillar of wisdom in guiding all of us present here today.
Thank you.
It is our immense pleasure as we announce the presence of our respected speaker, Shri H.G. Amogh Lila Prabhuji, among us today. And we are extremely grateful towards them for taking time out of their busy schedule for being a pillar of wisdom and guidance for all of us present here today.
Thank you for your kind words. Hare Krishna.
We would also like to thank all of you present here today in joining today's session and giving life to it. Together, let's use this opportunity where we explore, learn, and make this experience memorable.
Before moving on to the main crux of the event, I'd like to introduce the audience to the format of the event. The session in total consists of 90 minutes, with 45 minutes being given to our podcast interaction with Sir, and 45 minutes being given to the audience interaction with Sir. So Sir, with your respected and delighted permission, may we please begin with the session?
Yes, absolutely. Bingo. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, sir, starting off, could you take us back to the beginning of your journey? What inspired you to explore this path?
Okay, firstly, spirituality is everybody's need. It is not just about Amogh Lila Das. It's everyone's need. And that's why you see that where people are not spiritual, even though they may have power, post, position, beauty, fame, aristocracy, influence, yet they are not happy. And I've been to the corporates. I've worked with some of the top-notch corporates, wealthy people, aristocratic people, influential people, but yet they are not happy. And that's why in corporates we see that there are smoking zones, we have got drinking zones. Why? Because people somewhere inside they are empty, they are hollow and shallow. So why? What is missing in them? It is spirituality. So even though they have everything, they have got physical needs in terms of having good food, good clothing, everything is there, socializing, in terms of intellect, they are learning something new, egoistic thing, they are recognized by people, but they are not happy. So spirituality is everyone's need. So that's why, I also explored it. So I used to meet various spiritual teachers asking my questions because I was very inquisitive person. I was like a walking question bank. So I was seeking a walking answer bank. But often I would get disappointed by various teachers. Of course, I learned from all of them. But yes, I got all of my answers, scientific, bona fide, authentic, heart transforming answers to all my questions when I came to the devotees of Lord Krishna, as I came to ISKCON. So that's why I decided that yes, I should pursue this path of devotion. It's not a cult started by some Babaji. It is the path of bhakti, which is time-tested wisdom, and which has been executed by some of the great acharyas, the devotees, the self-realized souls. So that's why I thought that I should just pursue it. So in this way, I continued the path, and of course I could see that God has given me everything the best. So I should also, in reciprocation, as a matter of gratitude, I should also do something for the Lord. So whatever good God has given me, I give it back to the Lord as a service by connecting humanity to the grace of the Lord. So this is how I reciprocated to His grace. And I could see that earlier my plan was to become millionaire, make a lot of money and serve poor people. But I could see that people are less miserable because of body, but they are more miserable because of the mind. Minds are more miserable nowadays. So that's why तन की सेवा से ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है मन की सेवा. Okay, तो मन की सेवा के लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा फिर? So then that's why I decided instead of becoming a millionaire to make a lot of money and serve people only physically, I should become a monk, become a spiritualist, and then serve people's minds. Because if mind is hellish, even though you may have six-pack, still you would be messy. Why? Because your mind is messy. And that's why in English we say, mind your own business. We never say body your own business. Because more important than body is the mind. Like in a computer system, hardware is also important, but more important than hardware is software. In case your operating system is a virus itself, then what will happen? Arey. So that's why we need to have that antivirus software in our lives. So we have viruses, so viruses can be taken care of by Quick Heal, McAfee, Norton. But what about the antivirus software for the mind? So spirituality is that antivirus software for the mind. So that's why I thought that I should do this social service by helping people upgrade their minds.
Right, so I think that's very beautifully said. And somewhere along the lines, I think people confuse this path that one can only follow a spiritual or a professional path at once. So do you think that's a myth or is that a fact?
Of course it's a myth. In fact, in corporates earlier, people used to focus more on skills. That we should hire the best of skillful people. And that's why the focus was on IQ. But then they noticed that the people with best of IQ, they do best of scams. Because they have good IQ. So then they went for another psychometric test for hiring. And that was based on EQ. That people who have got good emotional quotient, we should hire such people. People should have feelings, humanity, values. That's very good. But it was noticed that people who have got good EQ, sometimes emotions are so overwhelming for them that they are not able to control their emotions. Now is the requirement of third psychometric test. So what is that? That is about SQ, spiritual quotient. Spiritual quotient manages EQ and EQ manages IQ. So spirituality is required, and that's why you see that even in ancient times there used to be Raj Rishis. That means they are Raja, they are administrators, they are kings, but they are Rishi at the heart. That means they are saintly at heart. So we require such saintly kings. Currently we are blessed with such a glorious Prime Minister of India. He is actually a saintly king. He is a saint at heart, but in administration he is awesome. He works every day 18 hours. Wow. And that's why we see that India is now the fastest growing economy. So that means a person who is spiritual can actually serve. Otherwise, people are often driven by their egos. So to melt down ego, we need to have spirituality. Otherwise, people misuse their power. Because it's the nature of power that is straight away goes to the head. And then it corrupts. It's the nature of power that it corrupts. And for sure, it corrupts. So how to stop power rule our head? Spirituality. Spirituality keeps the power in the right direction so that it is used and not misused. And emotions should not overwhelm me that I lack my focus. So for that also spirituality is required. So often people think spirituality, well, that's for after retirement. Yeah. Once my children are married, yeah. Once I'm done with my home loan, car loan, education loan, yeah. Then maybe we'll go for this spirituality. Yeah, but not now. Not now. But then you see people are depressed as well. Yeah. So spirituality is not a luxury. Spirituality is necessity. In case you are not fulfilling your necessity, you will be miserable for sure. So we need God. God doesn't need us. We need Him. Yes.
Right, sir. So I think you rightfully proved that a professional as well as a spiritual path is very much like surmountable together.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So sir, do you have any personal tips that you can give for people willing to follow both of these paths together?
See, everything has got a time for it. Like when I was also working as a software engineer, so in the morning time, I would be chanting the holy name of God, read few pages of the Bhagavad Gita for half an hour. And then once I'm in my office, just office work, and then when I'm coming back, I can listen some nice bhajan or some nice discourse, a recording. Then once I'm with my family, I spend time with my family. Being a student also, I used to follow same format. In the morning, I would chant the holy name. While being in the bus, I would read some spiritual book. And once I reach my college, I'm there with my college. I'm in my lab, programming C, C++, Java, Marjava, whatever. I'm doing practice. And in my library, I'm doing self-study. But once I come back, I'm with my family. And by following this format of life, I scored 89% in my graduation. So I was 5th in my university. So that's why one can be spiritual, at the same time one can be dutiful as well. It is not mutually exclusive. Either you are spiritual or you can be a good student. No sir. Those who are spiritual, they can actually be a good student because they know how to manage time. Like nowadays we see the students, they waste so much of time on Instagram reels. 10 second mein mazza, 20 second mein mazza, mazza mazza mazza. और पढ़ाई सजा सजा सजा. So this is happening. Why? Because there is no spiritual strength. There is no inner strength to say no to temptations. And that's why we are driven by temptations. And then, gone. 3 years, gone. 4 years, gone. And then when companies come to the college, they ask in interview, क्या आता है आपको? You know, just like sometimes, when we, sometimes, wow, इतना कुछ सीखा आपने? Yes, sometimes. So we see that when companies they come, they ask for an interview, any question, any technical question, then students can't answer because throughout 3 years, 4 years, it was just good time on Netflix, Amazon Prime Videos, Ullu, ALT Balaji. That's it. This is what I did 4 years. And then what comes? Nothing. And that's why you see nowadays, I'm talking about computer science engineering, 95% computer engineers in India do not know how to do coding. And that's a harsh reality. Because just by cramming through the books, skimming through the books, you can't really become a programmer. You are to really practice. But for the practice, you need to have the tolerance against the temptations, technological temptations, girlfriend, boyfriend temptations. They are there. If you can't say no to that, then you can't really study. You can't acquire knowledge. And in case you can't acquire knowledge, you cannot be successful in life for sure. Knowledge is most powerful thing in the world. Those who have knowledge, they rule the world. But for knowledge, tapasya is required. You have to say no to the temptations.
Right, so being a computer science BTech student myself, I can truly resonate with that fact.
Oh yeah.
So excellent point, sir. एक आपने point mention करा knowledge and focus.
Yes.
सबसे ज़्यादा important है.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. Moving forward. Sir, मैं आपको काफ़ी टाइम से follow कर रहा हूँ. Like एंड कमिंग फ्रॉम अ पॉडकास्ट फ्रॉम रणवीर अलाबादिया, आपने एक पॉडकास्ट करा उनके साथ, आपने अपनी लाइफ को और जर्नी को एड्रेस करा एक टनल से, थ्रू मेटाफोर. सो लाइक मैं आपको काफ़ी टाइम से फॉलो कर रहा हूँ, तो आप एक बार ऑडियंस को थोड़ा उसके बारे में बता पाएंगे, दैट टनल.
Yes, when we enter a tunnel, then what happens? Backside we see that gradually the light is becoming dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. In front you can't see whether it has opening or not. Maybe this is the cave, it's a closed cave. Then, and in between you see that backside the light is off. In front I can't see the light. It's all dark. So the person can become indecisive whether I should actually move ahead or not, what to do. So in such a case, what comes to our rescue is association. That means in this cave you are not alone. There are others also who are walking. Some of them they are behind you, some of them are ahead of you, and some of them they have seen the light on that side. Hey, there is light. Yeah, there is light. There is an opening to this cave. It is not a closed cave. Keep moving, guys. And there are people who have actually crossed the cave, and those who have almost crossed the cave, those who are in between, and those who have just started the journey. But just because there is an association of somebody who is also walking in the cave, even though the situation is of indecisiveness, yet I will continue the journey. And then one day I'll also see the light. Hey, yeah, I can also see it's not a closed cave. Yeah, it's open. Yes. So in this way, association really matters. Association is something which can make you. Association is something which can break you. Like in college life also, if you see, what brings darkness to our consciousness or our minds is association. Even if you are having bright mind, yet there can be darkness because some friend of yours say, "Yeah, kuch nahi hone wala tera yaar. It's hopeless, man. Future is dark. Kuch nahi hone wala bhai." And then you also become depressed. So association really matters because our thought process, our values, they come from association. So in a cave of our journey, whether spiritual life or our everyday life, although we may be surrounded by indecisiveness, uncertainty, but uncertainty also becomes adventure because of good association.
So basically, when you were in the middle of the transition, or comparing to the metaphor being, आप जब middle में थे, so did you have any feeling of hopelessness, despair, or loneliness?
No, not at all. Because in between we keep listening, we keep hearing. सुनो सुनाओ, लाइफ बनाओ. जो लोग सुनते हैं, उनकी लाइफ बनती है. जो लोग सुनते नहीं हैं, उनकी लाइफ नहीं बनती. Like in a classroom, somebody can have good time. बीच में अपना WhatsApp खोला. कर सकते हैं. Sometimes when the class is very boring, or in case so much of data download, so the person is not listening. So in case the person is not listening, will this person learn or not? In case somebody is not listening, will this person learn or not? Will learn, but by experience. But by experience. Economical way of learning is by listening, and costly way of learning is by experience. सर ठोकरे खाए हैं सर. ठोकरे क्यों खाए आपने? क्या क्लास में सुनते नहीं थे ना हम लोग? क्लास में सब करते थे. यही करते थे. तो इससे कुछ सीखा? कुछ नहीं सीखा. तो क्या ऐसे लोग सीखते हैं? Of course they learn. Later on they learn by experience. Yes. So इसलिए economical way of learning, that is intelligence. So we should learn in economical way by hearing. So even though you are moving in your life and you do not know when you will meet your destination, still there is hope. Why? Because you are listening. So when we are walking, we should always listen to good stories, analogies, examples, anecdotes. They are very helpful. By contemplating onto them, and we keep moving.
So my next question you have already answered. So, but still for the audience, did you ever feel like going back specifically during the transition phase?
Transition of?
Your journey from like professional career to a spiritual
path? Never ever. Because I saw both the worlds. I worked in corporates. I also worked with devotees. So I've seen both the worlds. I've seen the spiritual world as well as material world. I've seen both of them. And out of the two, I can clearly see that those who are spiritual, they are happy people. They are happy people. And those who are materialistic people, even though they may have a lot of money, a lot of comforts, yet they are not happy. Yes, drinking wine and smoking cigarette is a proof that they are not happy, because they are trying to fill that hollowness inside with that smoke. So I could see both of them, spiritualist, materialist. Spiritualist, not so much money, but they are happy people. Materialistic people have a lot of money, but they are miserable people. Like there is saying, some people are so poor that all they have is just money. कुछ लोग इतने गरीब होते हैं, बस एक ही चीज़ उनके पास, पैसा. ये सर और कुछ है? हाँ, पैसा ही है बस. बहुत गरीब आदमी है तो. So that's why money is important. I'm not saying one should not get money. One should have money. But if you think that money can buy you happiness, no. I was seeing one interview of Hrithik Roshan. He was mentioning that somebody told me that once you become successful, then you will be happy. Then I, Hrithik Roshan, actually became successful. But I was not happy. That is what we think is happiness, is not really happiness. Happiness often becomes like a mirage, Mr. Krishna. It's like that. So that's why, as we are moving ahead, we should know that until unless we spiritually satisfy ourselves in this journey, we will not be satisfied. So bringing that balance is very important. Everything should have a time. Spirituality should also have time, and our everyday duties should also have time. So corporate life, I have seen corporate life, and I would clearly reduce that. Yes, people, because they are having no spiritual culture, they are not happy. Even though they have plastic smiles. Hey, how are you doing? Good. Ooh, rocking. Good actors. Very good actors. But inside, I'm not so happy actually. So that's why I could see materialistic life as well as spiritualistic life. And I chose spiritual life. Although I'm not saying that everyone should become monk like me. Even wherever you are, being a student, being a homemaker, being a teacher, being an administrator, you can still be spiritual. What I'm saying is that everyone should have this element of spiritual life. Spiritual life. That's very important. So there is no question of having a U-turn. No, I have seen both the worlds, sir. And I can clearly see where person can actually be happy. So the spiritual culture brings happiness in our life.
So the path was clear.
Crystal clear.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable inputs. And I really hope that our audience will jot down all these points and use them as their future references.
Okay, wonderful.
Right, sir. So continuing on the same topic, I'd really like to ask that when you were in the middle of that tunnel where you were surrounded by darkness, were there any teachers or mentors who guided you, or any person who held a significant role?
Oh yes, absolutely. There are many teachers. In fact, there may not be teachers who are very spiritual, but they were very moral. And just by seeing their sense of morality also, that was inspiring. And I could get association of some of the great spiritualists by their own personal example, plus the words of wisdom which comes. It's very helpful. Often it is seen that, sadhus, they bless you, and then something comes from their hand and then falls on your head, and wow, that was such a blessing indeed. No. The blessing can certainly come from the hands, but more importantly, the blessings comes from the mouth of a saintly person. So I always exposed myself to hearing from the saintly personalities. So hearing from them, asking questions, that's what is required. In fact, the purpose of this human form of life is to ask questions. Like for career, we ask questions. For good health, we ask questions. Whom should I get married? We ask questions. Similarly, for ultimate purpose of life, we should ask questions. And more you ask questions, your doubts are dispelled. Just like sun is here and sun is covered by the clouds. But in case the clouds are dissipated, they are removed, and then we see the sun shining to its full glory. Similarly, our faith is also like sun. It is covered by the clouds of doubts. When we ask questions, when we hear from saintly personalities, So these doubts are taken care of. Once they are removed, then the sun of our faith shines to its full glory. So hearing from them, asking questions from them, that's why this human form of life is being given to us. Asking relevant, meaningful questions.
Right, sir. So hearing your words really reminded me of a phrase that I've heard, that curiosity is what makes civilizations greater.
Yes, that's true. But nowadays people are curious where to invest money, what are the latest fashion trends, अच्छा खाना कहाँ मिलेगा. So of course these questions are also important, but these should not be the only questions which we should be asking.
Moving forward, sir.
Okay.
Mostly आज जितने भी लोग हमारे साथ हैं, the audience, they are youngsters or the youth. सारे undergraduate students and postgraduate students. Yes. So talking about the youth nowadays quite often grapples with self-doubt and overthinking. So how did you personally overcome those moments in your journey?
Yeah, regarding self-doubt, people often do self-doubting. Why? Because they compare themselves with somebody else. When we compare ourselves with somebody else, somebody who is very fast, very efficient, very intelligent, very talented, very successful, good marks, nice job, got a good life partner. I did not. I could not. So that's why then there comes a self-doubt. So self-doubt begins with comparing yourself with someone. We all are unique. We need to understand this. We all are unique. When we compare ourselves with someone, at that time we are insulting the uniqueness which God has blessed upon us. Like say for example, if I compare myself with someone who is very expert as a cook, there would be self-doubt. Amogh Lila, cooking nahi kar sakta yaar. Can't you cook? You crook. Okay, yes, I am not blessed with cooking skills, but I am blessed in a different way. Right? So self-doubt comes by comparing ourselves with others. Secondly, we should also forgive ourselves. I see that often people are not able to forgive themselves. Self-doubt also comes because there is a guilt from the past. I could not do that. In the past, I was such a dumbo, I was such a duffer. Such a duffer, Ashley. And because I was such a duffer, I cannot do it. Hey, bhai. It's okay. So that's why second thing is that we need to forgive our own selves also. We should learn from our past mistakes, but we should not drag the guilt so much to the extent that I'm spoiling my present and then future as well. So we should forgive ourselves. Yes. Thirdly, we all have our own pace. So somebody else can have his own pace. I have my own pace. It's okay, and that's perfectly fine. So then also we don't do self-doubting. साथ ही self-doubt को दूर करने के लिए we should also prepare. I should acquire knowledge. Knowledge destroys doubting. So what am I doing for acquiring knowledge? Some kind of GK can be there by YouTube shorts. Now I am acquiring general knowledge, okay, which is the fastest vehicle created by the human mankind. General knowledge about current affairs, general knowledge about geopolitics, general knowledge. Apart from that, I should also have knowledge of which is required in my life, whether career, whether spiritual. So knowledge, one should consciously, continuously, deliberately acquire knowledge. One should always be thirsty for knowledge. That's what's required. And then this self-doubt can be conquered. Also, knowledge should followed by contemplation. When we contemplate onto knowledge, then knowledge sinks into heart. In case we do not contemplate, then knowledge is only in the head. But what's the right place for knowledge? Head or heart? Heart. So knowledge comes to heart when we contemplate onto knowledge. Yeah. So in this way we can conquer self-doubt. Now regarding overthinking, from where comes this overthinking? You see, around say 6-7 years back, we would not use this word overthinking. 5-7 years back, this word came into being, overthinking. Because 5-7 years back, one technology came in our lives. Internet, smartphones, mobile phone. Because of over data download, there is over processing of the data. And when there is over processing of the data, then that is overthinking. That leads to overthinking basically. So somewhere we are to detox ourselves from technology. That's very important. Otherwise, so much of data is coming and then you process the data and then overthinking will happen. Yeah. Secondly, we should know that I am to learn from my failures. Often people do overthinking whether I'll be successful or failure. And I'm afraid of failures. Excuse me, sir. Failures are great teachers. And once you have this attitude that failures are great teachers, then you are not fearful of failure. And then you are not doing overthinking. Huh. Third, relinquish control. More you hold on to the control of people, circumstances, then there is overthinking. Now, there are few things they are in my control, and there are few things which are not in my control. I should understand this. To study very well is in your control. But अगर आपका पेपर बहुत tough आ गया, that's not in your control. So कुछ चीज़ हमारे वश में है, कुछ चीज़ हमारे वश में नहीं है. To have this wisdom will relieve you. Like before going to bed, you can say, okay God, I did my best, now you take care of rest. And now I'm also going to take rest. Relinquishing control. In case you can't do that, you can't sleep well. Even though your bed, your foam is from Sleep Well company, but you're not sleeping well, on the sleep well. Why? Because you are not relinquishing control. We need to relinquish control. We should have sense of ownership, sense of responsibility, and doing your best, and then leave it. That's it. That's what's required. And then once you have good sound sleep for 6 hours, and then you see your mind is functioning normally. Now you are focused. So in this way we can conquer overthinking or negative thinking. One more way of conquering overthinking is to postpone overthinking. Yeah, I will do overthinking. It is very good. Mind, you like overthinking? Yes. Alright, we will do overthinking. But after 5 minutes, postpone. In those 5 minutes, you can offer some prayers to God. You can chant His holy names. You do some prayerful contemplation. You can do that. And just by postponing that, you see that gradually it loses momentum. Like in tennis, if you do the service, and then the ball hits the net. So second time, the service doesn't have that velocity, that intensity. Why? Because now this time my focus is that ball na net ke us par chali jaye. The ball should not hit the net. So as soon as there is a postponing of something, it loses intensity. So in case something is really hitting on here again and again, okay, yeah, overthinking, I will do you. Yeah, I like overthinking. Mind, you like overthinking? Yeah, me too. After 5 minutes, I will do. Postpone. And gradually it loses momentum. It loses intensity. Yeah. In this way we can take care of self-doubt and overthinking.
Excellent point, sir. You mentioned a point about the failure. Even I believe that failure is the first step of success.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Right, sir. So I think what some of our problems may inculcate is that we don't believe nowadays. Belief, I think I categorize belief in two categories. There are two people. One who believe in a sort of a religion or a god, and the other being the people who believe in themselves. So sir, how do you feel that both are different from one another?
Yeah. Actually, we should believe in ourselves, but we should believe in God also. Yeah, because ultimately source of energy is God. Like Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I am the intelligence of the intelligent. I am the strength of the strong. I am the ability in man. So whatever abilities we have, they are coming from God. No, you can't say, no, I don't believe in that creator. Who has seen him? I just believe in myself, guys. I'm self-made. I'm a self-made man. Yes. But even a self-made man gets abilities to be self-made by the grace of God. Even an atheist gets abilities from God. Even though he say, हम नहीं मानते भगवान को, लेकिन काका जी आप में शक्ति तो प्रभु से ही आ रही है, मानो चाहे ना मानो. Yes. So everyone is actually blessed by God. So to say that I don't believe in God, I believe in myself, but the self is connected to God ultimately. We are His servants, we are His devotees ultimately, we belong to Him. So that's why to have that connection also is very important. There is one survey, it mentioned that those who are atheists, they are more susceptible to depression than those who are God believers. Those who are God believers, they know that okay, Prabhu hai. Life में दिक्कतें तो हैं, लेकिन प्रभु तो हैं. And that's the beauty of India, especially I would say. In India, 99.76% people are theists. They are God believers. In India, only 0.24% people are atheists. That's it. And there is a country next to Himalayas, China. 67% people are atheists. But we see where the people are happier. In India. Nowadays, of course, we see that Indian people are not so happy. Reason being, they are not really valuing their spiritual culture. That's why. So Indians are trying to become Americans. But whatever we may do, Indians cannot become Americans. Even though we may bleach our hair, and we may say yo, we may say 0 as O. My number is 700. But still I am an Indian, I cannot become an American, for sure. Okay, so are you Indian? I am no more Indian because I don't follow values of Indian culture, Vedic culture. So neither I am Indian, nor I am American. American I cannot become, Indian I am no more because I don't follow the values, the spiritual culture. So I am stuck in between. So dhobi ka dash, na yahan ka na wahan ka. So that's the condition of Indians nowadays. And that's why we see in happiness index, India is 127 rank, 119 rank. Excuse me? Why so? Because Indians are not following their own spiritual culture. But when we do that, then we can actually be happy. We can actually be happy. So that's why we should value that culture. That's very important if we do this. And then more we are happy, then we can contribute to other people's happiness as well. So in case you are miserable, you can make other people miserable. In case you are messy, you make other people messy. Not Leon Messi, only messy. And in case you are happy, what you will spread? Happiness. Yes. So charity begins at home, right or wrong?
Right.
Wrong. Charity begins at self, then at home, then to the society. So charity begins at self. Yes.
So, sir, I think we've been on the first gear for far too long. So let's shift directly into the third gear. We have a fun surprise lined up for you in the form of a rapid fire session.
Okay.
So, sir, may we please proceed?
Sure. Please.
I don't think the audience needs an introduction to what a rapid fire is. Do you guys need an introduction? No. So let's directly begin with the rapid fire. And sir, I'd like to request that you keep the answers preferably in one sentence.
Yes.
Okay. So let the rapid fire begin. So what would be an ideal day for Amogh sir?
Chanting the holy names of the Lord in good association of devotees.
Excellent.
What is the memory that you cherish the most?
Memory I cherish the most is that when I go to some holy place like say Vrindavan with devotees and having darshan of the Lord and having my favorite delicious prasadam.
Right, sir. So being an engineering student myself, what is a subject that you hated the most?
The subject which I hated the most in our computer engineering was accounting. Because in computer science engineering, they have accounting also. In case you have to make an accounting software, you should know credit, debit, balance sheet. I was from science background. I would write credit in debit, debit in credit, and balance sheet was never balanced. Sometimes there are difference of 50,000, 1 lakh. So most difficult subject was accounting. I really prayed to Lord Krishna that, oh Lord, please let me pass in accounting. I can't study this in another semester. And out of 150 was passing, I scored 51. So God was really merciful on me. Otherwise I would have failed. So that's why in computer science engineering, accounting.
So what's the best advice you have received till date?
Best advice. Always keep good association. Life is all about association.
And so what's your favorite place to meditate in?
Favorite place to meditate in? Our Hare Krishna temples, of course, they are awesome to meditate in. And this is a very beautiful place which is known as Mayapur Dham, which is in Bengal, a place of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I like to do Kirtan there because a form of Lord Krishna, as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came to this world to give the holy name of the Lord. So when I do Kirtan in Mayapur Dham, it's a different experience altogether.
Okay. Could you mention one slok from Bhagavad Gita which resonates best with our audience?
Okay, I would say for the audience, that means for the students, yeah. Very beautiful verse which is in the second chapter, verse number 44. Bhog Aishwarya Prasaktanam Tya Parata Chetasam Vavesyatmika Buddhi Samadho Na Vidhiyate. That means Bhog Aishwarya Prasaktanam. Those who are attached to Bhog, that means sense enjoyment, Aishwarya, that means material opulence, they cannot have resolute focus in their lives. And you see, it is such a villain for a student being attached to sense enjoyment. Mazza, drugs, mazza, internet, mazza, girlfriend, boyfriend, mazza, khane pine ka, mazza. So when there is Bhog Aishwarya Prasaktanam, Tya Parata Chetasam, Samadho Na Vidhiyate. You cannot have one resolute focus in your life just because you are attached to sense enjoyment. So entertainment is important, but in case you are addicted to entertainment, then you can't be a good student. So Chanakya Pandit says that the student should refrain from the sources of entertainment. And earlier that's why we used to have gurukuls. No entertainment, just study, knowledge. So now we have technology. So we should really be very conscious when it comes to entertainment. One should not get addicted to them. So Bhog Aishwarya Prasattanam Taya Parata Chetasam Vayasyatmika Buddhi. Vayasyatmika. That means one pointed resolute intelligence, Buddhi, Samadho Na Vidhiyate. One cannot be really fixed up in one's purpose. So that's for the students. Yeah. Of course, there is one very beautiful verse for students, one more, which is not written from Bhagavad Gita, but that is Kakachishta Bakut Dhyanam Shwar Nidra Tathaivacha Alpahari Brahmachari Vidyarthi Panchalakshanam. So these are 5 symptoms of a student. First is Kakachishta. That means the student should be as endeavoring like a crow. You have heard about the story of a crow, no? In the picture, the water was at the lower level, putting the pebbles and then bringing the water and then drinking. Yeah. So one should be as endeavoring like a crow. Bako Dhyanam, one should have focus like a crane. Like crane stands on one leg, as soon as there is a fish, focus. Not even a single fish can pass the crane. Focus. Shwar Nidra, that means one should sleep like a dog. Okay, sleep like a dog. अब इसे किसी से कुत्ते को सोते देखा है? कुत्ता कैसे सोता है? घोड़े बेच के सोता है? नहीं, सो रहा होगा हल्की सी आहट, तो ऐसे सोना चाहिए. ऐसे नहीं माथा पे उठाए, बेटा उठ जाओ, जाना नहीं है IITM, उठ जाओ बेटा, बेटा लेट हो रहा है, और उठना चाहिए. So when we sleep, we should sleep with this mindset, I am to get up. Shwar Nidra. Alpahari, one should not eat too much. आपकी जितनी appetite है, you should eat 80% of that. Rest 20% of appetite should digest the food even better. And then Brahmachari. Brahmachari doesn't mean that you become monk like me, shaven-headed. No. Brahmachari means having respect for the opposite gender. Even in college, once you get into flirting with each other, hey baby, hey gorgeous, hey handsome. Once you start flirting, it actually agitates your mind. So Brahmachari means one should have respect for the opposite gender. That's very important. So Vidyarthi Panchalakshanam. So these are the 5 qualities which are required in a student.
Okay. So that being the last question of the rapid fire round, can we have a huge round of applause for Amogh sir?
Thank you.
So let's shift our focus back to the podcast interaction.
All right.
Sir, so I have one question for you. Could you please, for the benefit of the young students, elaborate what spirituality is and how to achieve and practice it in a simplified way?
Yeah. Actually, spirituality begins by being grateful to God. Whatever God has blessed upon us, nice parents, good body, healthy body, good intelligence, nice institute, good teachers, whatever good we are blessed with, we should be grateful to God for that. So that's why spirituality begins by having the attitude of gratitude. That's the thing. Second is being prayerful. We should also offer prayers to God. Also, we should expose our heart to God. That, oh God, you are so merciful. I'm having such a bad habit. Please help me come out of this. Chanting the names of God lovingly, out of devotion. And Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So one can chant even Christ's name or Allah's name in case you are a Muslim or a Christian. But chanting the names of God, that's also very important. Also, we should read some scriptural pages, like say Bhagavad Gita, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, every day we should study. Yeah. In case you have questions, come to a devotee, ask questions. That you should do. At least once in a week, you should go to a local temple where there is some spiritual discourse is happening about bhakti, devotion, and then you should hear the discourse. Ask questions. Important. Pravachan is not for just old people. Hey, बूढ़े लोगों के लिए भाई, जाओ बुजुर्ग लोग, आप लोग सुनो. हम शॉपिंग करेंगे, घूमेंगे, फिरेंगे, नाचेंगे, गाएंगे, ऐश करेंगे और क्या. ए, क्या बोलती तू? ये जवानी है दीवानी. Youngsters should also hear discourse from a devotee of the Lord. So hearing from such a person is also part of spirituality. Rest, we should full-fledged study very well and don't play cricket here. Go outside, go for a walk. Even you want to play badminton, go and play outside for good healthy body. Do some vyayam, yoga, exercise, the body fit.
So this way one can manage, one can balance physical well-being, mental well-being, emotional well-being, and very importantly, spiritual well-being.
Okay, excellent point, sir. We were talking about meditation, like in the rapid fire round, about your favorite place to meditate. So I have one question regarding it. What is your perception regarding meditation?
Okay, and meditation means it's a process to reconnect to God with spiritual relationship. We all have spiritual relationship with God. To revive that relationship is actually spirituality, is actually meditation. Nowadays you see that there are many yoga gurus, teachers, spiritual teachers, they teach pranayama, breathing exercise, vipassana, where there is focus on the breaths, the incoming breath, the outgoing breath. But basically there is pranayama. Pranayama in itself is not meditation. Pranayama prepares you for meditation. Like that. So, and pranayama is actually part of Ashtanga Yoga. So before that there is yam, niyam, do's and don'ts. There is also asana. Then there is pranayama. Then there is pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. In this way there are 8 angas, 8 limbs of yoga. But people often go for only one. Pranayama. But what's the yam and niyam? Yum. My ice cream, oh so yummy. Yum. So no yam and niyam, even pranayama doesn't give full benefit. But yes, pranayama prepares us for meditation. Otherwise, it might be a godless meditation. There is no God and I am doing meditation. What kind of meditation would that be? So we should meditate on the form of God. We should meditate on the qualities of God. We should meditate on His beautiful activities, on His reciprocations, His exchanges, and primarily on His name. Now, that's most important. Chanting the names of God is the topmost meditation. As scriptures declare, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam eva kevalam, Kala naste, 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 naste. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way but to chant the holy names of God, but to chant the holy names of God, but to chant the holy names of God. Hare Nam eva kevalam. Kevalam means this is the thing. Kevalam. So to chant the holy names of God, that is meditation prescribed for Kali Yuga people. We can't do meditation. We can't even sit straight. How many people are sitting straight? Now many of you are. But most of us, we can't even sit straight. What is your meditation actually? So that's why in Kali Yuga, the iron age, the age of moral hypocrisy, the age of disagreement, What is the practical way of doing meditation? Chanting the names of God. And when you say chanting, it means calling out the names of God. When we call out, that's the way of doing meditation. Just like, for example, in case you are in a well. In case you are in a well, then how do you call out? Hey! Right? In the same way, we should call out the names of God. That's the way of meditation in this Kaliyuga. In case somebody is in a well and is calling out, Hare koi hai? Hare nikalo. So in case we are in the well, we should cry out for help. Similarly, in Kaliyuga, we should chant the names of God. Cry out, oh holy name, I'm yours, I can't do meditation. My mind is not in my control. My intelligence is visible. I'm driven by my ego. Oh Supreme Lord, I'm calling out your name. Help me, please. I'm yours. I belong to you. So with these feelings, we should chant the names of God. Hare Krishna, calling the name. This is meditation in Kaliyuga. You can't do meditation. I see people doing meditation and then sleep. And then after half an hour, it was such a refreshing experience. After half an hour of power nap, who doesn't feel refreshed? So in this age, Kaliyuga, we are in Kaliyuga batch, the most duffer batch. Spiritually, most duffer people are in Kaliyuga only. Satyuga batch, brightest batch. Second bright batch, Tretayuga batch. Then next bright batch, Dwapar batch. And then all duffers got accumulated in one age. Kaliyuga batch. And we are the members of the most duffer age. नहीं ये थाली वाली बात नहीं है ये बहुत दुख की बात है we are spiritually dull people so for such spiritually dull people there is chanting over the holy name we have seen that people are so lazy when it comes to spirituality so dull even old people I have seen old people they are having it's like a normal life they are living what they have been living from ages. They were doing kuchi kuchi ku to their children, and then grandchildren kuchi kuchi ku, great grandchildren kuchi kuchi ku, one day kuchi kuchi ku. But no spirituality. They
color, hair color, and then in this way they put themselves in illusion. Abhi to main jawan hoon, abhi to main jawan hoon. काका जी बुजुर्ग हो गया अब तो कम से कम छोड़ दो कब तक पकड़े लोगे संसार को. So that is chanting the holy name is for spiritually most duffer class, and we are the spiritually most duffer class Kaliyuga. So that's why chanting the holy name is easy, it's effective at the same time. And currently we see that all across the globe people are chanting the holy names of God, whether it is Russia, whether it is China. In China you will be happy to know that there are 80,000 Hare Krishna devotees in China. In Russia, more than 1 million devotees are there chanting Hare Krishna. Similarly, Europe, America, South America, except Antarctica, I would say, people are chanting the holy names of God. So people are taking benefit, and that's why meditation means to chant the holy name, and this way revive our relationship with Him, with the Supreme Lord, Krishna.
Okay. And sir, I have one more question regarding meditation. We have always heard a phrase, meditation can be a means of medication if done properly.
Yes.
For self-improvement and management. So could you share your thoughts on this?
Yes, of course, meditation is very helpful because it makes you more equipoised. It makes you tranquil. As I was mentioning that SQ manages EQ. Emotional quotient is managed by spiritual quotient. So spiritual quotient, it manages your EQ well. That means when you come to decision making, then you are more grounded, then you are more realistic in your decision making, because you are not covered by the flood of emotions which overwhelm your mind, your intelligence. So that's why spirituality helps us that way. Also, it raises the level of consciousness. In case you are to prepare something, say for example you are making a preparation, you are making a pudding, you are making a halwa. Okay. So how do we make halwa? By standing inside the kadhai or standing outside the kadhai? Yes. If somebody makes halwa standing inside kadhai, the person will become halwa. I have to stand outside the kadhai. Similarly, I may have my own problems in my life, my personal life, professional life, family life. In case if I want to make a nice tasty halwa, I have to stand outside to manage it nicely. And what is that outside? That spiritual platform where from where I stand, I can manage them nicely. Otherwise, we cannot manage it nicely. So that's why spirituality is so much required in our everyday life. In case you want to have a nice, tasty pudding, then we should have a separate standpoint of spirituality. Otherwise, we would become halwa. Khatam ho jayega sara jalwa.